All right, so in this video, I wanted to show you very quickly how you could save on clay enrichments. So I've had a few questions on my YouTube in terms of like how many clay credits does it cost? It's quite expensive, etc., etc. So the simplest way that you can save on clay credits is there's two or three main ways. So the first one is to use a email validation or an email finder and pay for that separately. So a lot of times within clay, well, actually, every single time that you're building a list, you're obviously going to have to find and enrich for the email address. So we use Prospeo. Prospeo tends to find quite a lot of the emails in this list. It's not found that many, but you get the point. Prospeo tends to find quite a lot of emails. So I would personally use Prospeo. And then you can, I think for like $199, you can get 20,000 credits, which is pretty good and should cover like most people. You can get 50,000 for like an extra 300, like $300 or something. Yeah, for 300 bucks or something. But Prospero would be the go-to. And then what that means is if you're building a list on Clay, you don't need to spend 2 credits just to find one email address and then not even know if that email address is valid or not. So it actually ends up working out cheaper if you get a subscription to Prospero and then use Prospero, and then you can use Clay for the actual enrichments of like, you want to find the company's tech stack, or you want to enrich and like scrape information from their LinkedIn profile, like company description, like all that kind of stuff. That's where Clay comes in. And then other than that, it's just connecting all the other providers. So you're doing it all in one place. You don't have to like import, export, like do all this other stuff. So that's where it's really useful. The second way is to, again, get a separate subscription to something like Debounce. Debounce is extremely cheap and really cost effective, but it validates email addresses and does it all within here as well. So we've got it connected. So you can validate email, and then you would just select the email column there and then validate it. And then we've got the email. We've got our own subscription to that. It's very, very cheap. For like 100 credits, you're looking at like $90 or something. So it's really, really cheap. And it goes up and down in plans. Like you've got a lot of options there. So that's the second way, and you don't need to waste another credit. So already there, you've saved 3 credits for 1 lead. So every time you have a list, instead of spending 2 credits to find the email and then 1 credit to validate, you're now saving on that and using your own softwares for that, and then connecting it via API to Clay, which makes it, super easy, much easier to and much more cost effective, which means you can use Clay for what it's really good for, which is like scraping and pulling all of this information into one place. And then the third and final way is to use ChatGPT. And again, have your own OpenAI key. So if you use 3.5 or 3.5 Turbo, it ends up working out like extremely, extremely cheap. I'll show you some of the other tables that we have here. So we always use, if it loads, there we go. Yeah, so we always use GPT, and it like this is we're running this with GPT-4, but this is incredibly cheap. With GPT 3.5, it's like really, really cheap. It's like 0.0001 like cents per enrichment. And one of the simplest ways to enrich is to pull the company description, right? And if you're pulling and building the list from Clay automatically, you don't have to use a credit for that. So an example workflow for something like this, where you save a whole bunch of credits, could be you build the initial list in Clay, so using LinkedIn, and then find people, and then you would use Prospeo and Debounce to find the emails, verify the emails. Again, you're still not spending any credits on that whatsoever. And then you've already got the description. So if you've pulled and built the list from Clay, it gives you the description here. This is from their LinkedIn. And then you would use ChatGPT to connect to that and basically analyze the description and then enrich and build the information based on that. So you're not actually using any credits in that workflow, like at all. You just have everything all in one place. Now, if you wanted to further enrich it and you wanted to get information from like the person's LinkedIn profile and all that kind of stuff, you could. And that's where the credits would come in. So yeah, those are 3 ways that you can save on credits. And most of the time, most people can save on by having an external email finder and then connecting that, because email finders on Clay cost 2 credits per email that you're finding. So instead of using it to find emails, use those credits for like actual enrichments that help you reach out to the prospect, not finding the email. So yeah, hopefully this video is useful in terms of how to save Clay credits.